So, Zach, I know many guys know you from here because you're a men's retreat. You're a men's retreat guy. You've been here.
Yeah.
And then you're involved with all kinds of stuff at Granger. But I would love for the guys that don't know you yet, just to give us a little bit of the backstory of just whatever you want to share about family and upbringing and just that whole start. So give us a framework for your beginning.
Yeah. So this is the first time I've ever done anything like this in terms of sharing this many people. Not something I'm really used to, so bear with me here. Growing up, I gave my life to Christ when I was 13. I was raised going to church. But looking back on it now, I can see that it was pretty much all religion, right? Do this, do that. But really nothing to talk about where do we go from that life-changing decision, right? And so that's kind of where I was up until 3 years ago, right? Kind of just in a zombie phase of checking the boxes, taking my kids to church, doing what I thought was right. And then 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 2018, my wife, for Father's Day, signed me up for this men's retreat 2 years ago. And I was like, oh, no grill, no spatula, I get to sign up for a men's retreat. And that was honestly the best gift that I was probably ever given. Did the men's retreat that year. Was really nervous. I'm a huge introvert. You can ask anyone here. I don't really, talking to people isn't really my thing. But, I've been leading groups for 2 years now, and it's just, God's really changed my life. Looking back in 2018, the first men's retreat, it was based off the Grit series that was done a little bit of time before that. And God really nudged me, and that was when I decided to go all in. Going all in my marriage. Going all in as a dad, as a friend, as a brother. It's just black and white. It really is. So after the men's retreat, where do we go next, right? Granger's really good about providing next steps. What do we do after that life-changing, that moment, that midnight moment, that all-in moment? What do we do next? Well, my wife for the last 5 years had been bugging me to do core classes. And up until that point, I was like, no, we don't have time for that, and I would always try to schedule something for when, core classes in September. Hey, why don't we go up north, But no, not anymore. Not anymore. It's on the calendar, we're doing it. And 101 was awesome. I found out my identity in Christ, who God says I am. And then the weeks leading after that, and then we went through 201. We didn't miss a single, we went all in straight through, right? It took about a year to do all four. We did it. We were like, no, we're intentional. We're doing all of this. And we didn't miss anything. And it was probably one of the best decisions that my wife and I ever, well, my wife always wanted to do it, but the best decision I ever agreed to do, but, were core classes. And in 301, you'll talk about pivot points and things that, looking back, what moment was a pivot point for you in your life when you really said, well, I'm all in, right? And the men's retreat 2018 was one of those moments for sure.
Wow. So, your first men's retreat, your wife gifts you the retreat for your birthday?
Father's Day.
Father's Day, okay. And then core classes, that was a gift for your birthday. Okay. Sign up for core classes for your birthday. Christmas, we're going to do, okay.
That's Ira's life.
So, Tell me just a little bit what you remember from that first men's retreat where you didn't sign up. Someone signed you up, so there's already a little bit of some hesitation there. Talk to me about what did God do that weekend? How did you go from, I don't think I even want to be here, I'm going to go here because my wife told me to, and I'm just going to make her happy, don't want to, and then what God did. Talk to me a little bit about what was that for you?
I think it was all of me, knew going into this was, what is the world status of a man? Like, what does that mean? Coming in here, I was in Chris Glance's group the first year, and that was huge for me because he set the precedent of, hey, we're all just guys here, and we're not perfect. We all shared. I'm like, okay, I can do this too, and then I think leading up to that, I think groups were definitely a big thing.
So getting connected in a real relationship with other brothers that are on the journey. That was a huge turning point for that too. You mentioned all your next steps that you took with core classes and getting the involvement, engaging, but the retreat really acted as that pivot point for, oh my goodness, like there's more to friendship, there's more to brotherhood than I knew before.
Yes.
And it's continued to just...
And now, what a relief it is to Maddie, my wife, who no longer has to share that whole weight of the spiritual burden of being a spiritual leader in our family. Like, I can help share that now. And so, and there's been a number of things that have come even after the men's retreat, after core classes. I went to India last year, and that was huge. I don't think that would have happened if that wouldn't have happened. And I'm a dad of 2 children who have special needs, kids who have special needs. And I'm able to help support my wife, who's writing a book for moms who are raising special needs children. So I'm able to help support her in that. It's huge.
Love that. So would you recommend that each and every man here engage with something out of this retreat, or should they just not engage in anything at all? Because it was a good retreat. I mean, it was the best retreat ever.
Yeah.
You think that it'd be helpful to actually move this thing forward?
Yeah, and I would start with core classes. It's fall, right? So core classes are coming up, I'm sure. And there's always a men's group to get plugged into. Your cabin leader, I'm sure, is in one or knows of one or could start one. I mean, we all need each other.
Hey, could we thank Zack?